Well, hello everybody and welcome to Assembly. Coming to you today from chapel for the very simple reason that I've had quite a busy day again. The lights going on my study, but also the borders are streaming past the window, so I sneak into the peace and quiet of the chapel to record this one. I'm going to start with music reports, and this is from MK. He says, we'll be starting the school choir for the 3rd, 4th, 5th and lower 6th forms next week. Please check your school email for the times and the days and let MK know if that provides a problem. I'm also delighted that the year group instrumental ensembles have all restarted now, and those will rehearse at the same times as last term. Remembrance Memorial. Mrs. Staniforth is looking for pupils to help out create the designs which will be industrially laser cut as part of the 2021 Remembrance Memorial. If you'd like to get involved, it's a really fantastic and a very large scale creative project. Please join the Zoom meeting on Thursday the 18th of March at 4 p.m. Look out for details in your emails and let Mrs. Staniforth know if you can't make it but would still like to be involved. An Eco Council. Mrs. Hall is looking for 6th form students who would like to be involved with the Eco Council. Council's looking to move the school forwards in terms of our environmental footprint, but also raising awareness of environmental issues. The next meeting is going to take place on Monday at 1:20 via Teams. Please do let Mrs. Hall know if you'd like to be interested in joining. You don't have to come to every meeting, she says, nor will you be overloaded with tasks. You're just asked to share a desire for a more sustainable future. And finally, I hope you've all been enjoying being back at school and settling back into the rhythms and patterns of life here. Overall, there has been a tremendous buzz around the place in the last few days, although I'm sure we're all noticing a very distinct change of pace from just a few days ago. I know that some of you were anxious about being around large numbers of people again with the noise and the bustle after a long period of time at home. And it reminds me somewhat of my gap year where for 6 months I worked as a jackaroo on a sheep station in the Falkland Islands. It was an amazing experience, totally unforgettable, incredibly beautiful place with 250,000 acres on the settlement and only 14 people. I had a motorbike, I could go anywhere I liked with that. The fishing was plentiful and easy, and there were great times driving boats to the off-islands with porpoises swimming around and penguins on the beach below my bunkhouse. Well, the contrast between that and the experience of coming back to the UK could not have been greater, and my father, helpfully or perhaps unhelpfully, sent me a few photographs of very crowded, busy streets in London. I remember sitting there, all those thousands of miles away, thinking, my goodness, how on earth will I ever adapt again? What would it be like to be surrounded by so many people? Well, on return, and having been collected from the airport, I found being in a car on a reasonably busy road quite a startling experience. I also found that it was difficult to make small talk and have chatty conversations, although mercifully for others, that seemed to wear off reasonably quickly. My point is that it would be unrealistic to expect everyone to feel completely back to normal within the first few days of this term. It may seem a curious comparison, but wearing a jacket all day on Monday for the first time in a few months felt quite restrictive across my shoulders, but felt more natural as the weeks gone by, and I hope that in another way that's how you will all feel before too long. It's been very good to share the plans for the awarding of grades this summer, and the various information sessions we've held with pupils and parents this week seems to have been helpful. Do of course stay in touch with any more questions as they arise. As I said to the lower 6th on Thursday in chapel, the coming weeks and months between now and the end of the academic year remind me somewhat of walking in the hills. There is something of a desire to look ahead and think about the end of the summer term, although it's still a long way off and there's much to be done in between. And when you're walking up a hill, you often spend time looking at the ground just a few metres in front of you as you trudge away and get some distance underneath you. That, however, is always punctuated by looking up to the top of the hill and the goal that lies ahead from time to time. It strikes me as being quite a useful metaphor for the next few weeks. It's going to be important to look at the ground immediately in front of us, but also let's keep our thoughts and eyes in a very positive way on all that lies ahead as well. Well, it's been a busy week here at school, but it's been an incredibly busy week in the media following the Duke and Duchess of Sussex interview with Oprah Winfrey over the weekend. And Meghan said that she was telling my truth. And that's led to quite an astonishing debate in the media over what constitutes truth. It's a deeply subjective concept founded as it is necessarily on a combination of empirical data and interpretation. For those of you interested in tabloid TV, you will have noticed that it also led to Piers Morgan walking off the set of Good Morning Britain on Tuesday and subsequently resigning from the show when he was challenged as to his version of truth, which of course was that he felt that Meghan was lying. I have to admit to being slightly more interested in something which happened earlier in that show on Tuesday morning. It was the day after International Women's Day, and Piers Morgan said that the sight of one of his female colleagues turning up to work in a miniskirt was a sign of summer approaching. He then asked the camera to pan over to her and asked her to stand up so that everybody could have a look. That's something that I found absolutely staggering, and it seems to have been completely overshadowed and ignored by all that happened later in the show. And given the theme of this year's International Women's Day, Choose to Challenge, it would seem that we have some way still to go. Monday evening at school, of course, saw an interview of a very different nature as we had a live broadcast in conversation with the first 5 girls who started at St. Peter's in 1976. They were simply fantastic, and we had well over 100 people watching from all around the world and some brilliant questions. At the end of the show, I asked them if they had any messages they would like to share with the pupils of St. Peter's today, and their responses seemed to me to be the perfect way to conclude this week's assembly. The first one. Make sure whatever course or degree you follow is a subject you really want to do and you're not pushed into it by family and friends. I've been an accountant for 35 years. I've enjoyed it, but it's a long time to be at work, so make sure it's something you love as you'll be doing it for a long time. The next. You don't have to make the decision straight away because there are so many opportunities available to you. When we were at school, you went to university and chose a career. Now you can always make a decision at a later date, so don't feel you have to rush into anything. The third one, it's great that you're all back in school. I can't imagine what a difficult year it's been for you all, for pupils, staff and parents. Good luck with settling back in. Seize every opportunity, enjoy every moment. If it takes you out of your comfort zone, just go for it. Enjoy things. And lastly, St. Peter's gives you the freedom and foundations and determination for a fulfilling life. So be brave, accept challenges and go for it. Couldn't agree more, of course. Stay safe, go well, and crack on.